Farms give us what we need to survive, but according to many farmers, they live from harvest to harvest. So when hard times hit, it is very difficult for these farmers to survive. And hard times have definitely hit hard. Trade conflicts, droughts, and the global health situation have hit farmers in a major financial way. Sadly, many have lost their farms. These are the states with the most farm bankruptcies. Before we begin, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and switch on notifications. We start the list in New York. I don't know about you, but farming isn't really the first thing I think about when I hear the words New York. But not only does New York City have some seriously cool urban farms, but New York State is also home to over 35,000 farms. Nearly a quarter of the land area is covered in farmland. There are many different farms in New York. Dairy farms alone are a billion-dollar industry for New York State. The center of state agriculture lies in the Finger Lakes region. Here they produce sweet corn, tomatoes, maple syrup, grapes, onions, apples, and cow milk. The state also grows potatoes and cabbages. But the last few years have hit New York hard. In 2019, many family farms were forced to file for bankruptcy. Then 2020 came, and along with it, the global health situation. Supply lines for farmers were interrupted, and farmers lost even more revenue. The exact numbers aren't in yet, but it looks like 2020 is going to be even worse for the amount of farmers that have lost their farms. Next on the list is Pennsylvania. With more than 53,157 farms in the state, agriculture is a very important sector in Pennsylvania. It provides a lot of jobs in the state. Pennsylvania produces a large part of the nation's milk supply. In fact, livestock product sales make up about 70% of farm income here. Cattle, hogs, eggs, and chickens all make some of the livestock products that are produced in Pennsylvania. But on the other side, crops are also important to the state's economy. They are a huge producer of edible mushrooms. There's also a variety of vegetables and fruits available. Among others, cherries, peaches, and grapes are produced. Potatoes, oats, rye, barley, and even winter wheat are all grown here. Farmers here really have a lot to choose from to produce and grow in this state. Even Christmas trees are produced. One of the most notable companies that's part of this industry is the H.J. Heinz company that's in Pittsburgh. Not only did the trade war with China have a major effect on Pennsylvania farmers, they have also faced all the other problems that national farmers have. The last few years have been very tough on the dairy industry in particular. For the last few years, it's been difficult for dairy farmers to break even with milk products. Many say that they have had to use their retirement money just to keep their head above water. But when that money runs out, many have no more options left and have to file for bankruptcy. Even the largest milk processing company in the country has had to file for bankruptcy. This has put even more strain on the farmers, and this was all even before the global health situation hit. I think it is definitely a very difficult time in agricultural history. Next, we're going to take a look at Iowa. Iowa is a farmer's dream. It has some of the most productive and richest soil in the world, so it's no surprise that it is second in the nation for agricultural production. More than 30 million acres in Iowa are farmland. A good way to imagine just how big that is to think about an acre. 1 acre is about the size of a football field. That is a lot of land. Almost 90% of Iowa is made up of farms. Production here includes red meat, hogs, and eggs. The rich soil produces many crops, for example, corn and soybeans. Yet, even here, farmers have been having a really tough time. Iowa has the highest farm debt in the US. Trade losses were very high in the last few years. Last year, in 2019, instead of drought being the main problem, they had a lot of spring rain, so much that it was very difficult to plant. This left more than 400,000 acres of land unplanted. Many farmers have done all they could to lower costs, and many have even sold off equipment that they weren't using as much. Their efforts, along with some assistance from the state, have helped keep Iowa out of the top spot for bankruptcies. Yet many farmers have lost their land. Many are struggling even more after the year that is behind us. Texas comes next. Everyone knows that everything is bigger in Texas, and farming is no different. Texas has the highest number of farms and ranches in the country. 1 out of 7 people in the Lone Star State works in a job that's related to agriculture. Here, family traditions are still very much alive, with family farms being by far the most in the state. Almost 99%, in fact. Of course, Texas is most known for the cattle and calf sector, but poultry and eggs and cottonseed are also big contributions to the state's economy. But the bankruptcies have touched many farmers here too. This was the 5th year in a row that bankruptcies increased in Texas. And even though we don't know exactly how things are going in 2020 yet, preliminary reports seem that numbers are going to be even worse than previous years because of the global health situation. Next on the list is California. This state has over 400 commodity crops across its borders, so listing everything that's grown here is impossible. The farms here are on average smaller than farms around the rest of the country, but they use their land well. There are more certified organic farms in California than anywhere else in the US. This year, farmers were given more federal aid in California. Yet even with that help, many farmers found it impossible to keep their farms afloat. In 2019 alone, bankruptcies here had increased by 65%, and it doesn't seem like the 2020 numbers are going to be better. Halfway down the list is Minnesota. Agriculture in Minnesota is responsible for a lot of the state's jobs. The state is is home to some of the top crops in the country, like sugar beets, wild rice, soybeans, green beans, and many more. Not only is it an important state for the production of food in the US, but it is important to global markets. Soybeans, wheat, and corn are the top exports for Minnesota. Agriculture is a very important part of the state's economy too. It contributes about $75 billion annually. Poor weather and other factors have forced many farmers in 2019 to file for bankruptcy. The bankruptcies filed here increased about 15%. Some of the types of bankruptcies filed luckily allow some farmers to keep their farms but restructure their finances. This helps all of us that need them to keep producing food. Kansas is next. Kansas is a huge producer of crops. Besides wheat, Kansas is an important producer of corn, grain, sorghum, and hay. The sunflower state obviously also produces sunflowers. Cattle and calves are also a big part of the industry. Agriculture makes up about 40% of the state's economy. Agriculture is also the biggest employer of the state and is responsible for a lot of jobs in Kansas. Kansas has had its share of natural disasters in the last few years. Droughts hit some parts of the state hard, and this was followed with flooding that caused even more damage. Then, of course, the global health situation created more problems. These factors all caused bankruptcies to spike in Kansas. Nebraska has an even higher number of bankruptcies. This state has a good mix of crops and animal produce. Cattle and calves, hogs, dairy, and chicken and eggs are some of the animal products that are produced in Nebraska. Some of the important crops are soybeans, potatoes, corn, wheat, and hay. Agriculture is one of the most important industries in the state. Many feel that it is the heart and soul of the state. Somehow this makes the bankruptcies filed here even sadder to me. Harsh weather contributed to difficulties that farmers have faced in this state. This year has, with the global health situation, seen bankruptcies skyrocket in the area. But the state with the most bankruptcies in the US is Wisconsin. When most of us think of Wisconsin farming, we think of cheese, but the agriculture here includes many other products. Farms cover about 14.3 million acres of land in Wisconsin, and the state produces many different products. Milk, corn, cranberries, and many other commodities are produced here. Even some more unique products, for example, ginseng and snap beans for processing, are produced in this state. But the price for produce has been reduced in the last few years. Even before the global health situation hit, many farmers were in serious trouble. In some commodities, oversupply is a very big problem. Then, when the global health situation started and borders of different countries closed, this interrupted farmers' paths to export their produce. This all leads to farmers being forced to file for bankruptcies. It is obvious that the people who are responsible for feeding all of us are in trouble. Some very hard years have created volatile situations for these dedicated farmers and have made life very difficult for them. Even those that have managed to keep their farms and those that have avoided bankruptcies are still struggling to do their jobs. Hopefully, in the coming years, things can get easier. If the global health situation can get under control and with more financial aid, hopefully this important industry is helped and the number of farm bankruptcies decreases soon. Until next time, thanks for watching.